In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the art book of an artist who, in my opinion, is one of the greatest of all time. Hey guys, Craig here, back for yet another installment of Art Book Review, and this month's review is going to be on the Art of Drew Struzan. Now you may not know his name, but you definitely know his artwork. So without further ado, let's check it out. Now for those of you who are unfamiliar with the name Drew Struzan, unless you've been living under a rock for the past 40 years, you know his work. In fact, if you've set foot in a movie theater at any time over the past 4 decades, then you've probably seen his artwork adorning the walls of a theater lobby in your own hometown. Drew is probably the most accomplished and well-recognized movie poster artist of all time. He's responsible for creating some of the most iconic movie posters ever. Posters from movie franchises like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, Back to the Future, Mad Max, Police Academy, just to name a few. Not to mention the one-off posters for classics like The Goonies, Adventures in Babysitting, Big Trouble in Little China, Blade Runner, The Green Mile, Hook, The Shawshank Redemption, and so many more. Hell, I could spend the entirety of this video just listing off his credits, and I wouldn't even come close to getting them all in. Now the book itself showcases some of Drew's more famous and well-known pieces, but by no means does it contain all of his work. If they created a book with all of his work in it, that would be one big-ass book. But the pieces it does include are amazing. And what's great about this book is that through the narrative, Drew gives you a little bit of insight into what was going on while he was creating each of these works of art. It's really cool to hear an artist, as accomplished as Drew is, talk about some of the ups and downs that he went through while coming up with these designs. It's not often that an artist is so open about the business end of his artistic career, but in this book, Drew is. Because I don't really want to spoil this book for you, I'm not going to go into any great detail about the narrative in this book. But what I am going to do is talk about Drew's journey as an artist. Because I think to truly understand just why this art book is so iconic, it's important to know what Drew went through to become the artist he is today. Now Drew, like most artists, started his career just living paycheck to paycheck. And for Drew, some of those paychecks weren't even enough to put food on the table. It's hard to imagine that an artist of Drew's skill level actually had to struggle to make ends meet, but he did. Although the book doesn't really go into this, Drew didn't actually start his artistic career painting movie posters. His first break came when he was offered a job painting album covers. Some of his most notable covers include Alice Cooper's Welcome to My Nightmare and Black Sabbath's Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Now you would think that creating some of the most iconic album covers in rock and roll history would lead to a wealth of royalties in later years, but that just wasn't the case. Drew worked for an hourly wage and a weekly paycheck, so the money he received at the end of the week was all he got. Fortunately, he was offered a job fairly early on in his career to paint movie posters for major studios. The job would pay him more per piece than he would make all year painting album covers. But like many artists, even to this day, Drew was a little naive when it came to the copyrights and ownership of his work. And as any professional artist will tell you, if you leave an open opportunity for somebody to take advantage of you and profit from your artwork at your expense, they will. For over 8 years, Drew created some of the greatest movie poster artwork the industry has ever seen, and was only paid a fraction of the money that the studios were actually paying to have the artwork created. He was basically being ripped off by his business partner who he thought he could trust. That crooked business partner went on to take ownership of over 100 original pieces of Drew's work, behind his back. An injustice that would only be rectified many years later in a court of law. It just goes to show you that even the best and most well-known artists can have their artwork stolen from them. That's what I think really makes this collection of artwork so powerful. When you know Drew's backstory and all of the struggles that he went through as an artist, you really get a sense of what it means to be a professional artist at the highest level. And being able to read about what went into creating all of these iconic works of art is just icing on the cake. What makes this book even more incredible is the realization that all of this artwork is hand-painted. In an age where much of the artwork being created today involves some sort of digital photo manipulation, this book brings you back to a time long before copy and paste, Control-Z, and layer masks that ensure perfect results every time. This artwork was created by pure, unadulterated artistic talent, with no help from technology whatsoever. And that is something to be in awe of, which is why this book is a must-have for any artist's library. Many of the art books that I review on this channel have an educational element to them. Whether it's drawing, shading, lighting, or perspective, each one has its own unique way of teaching you a little something about your craft. But this art book is purely inspirational. So when it comes time to read it, put down your pencil, turn off your computer, and just sit back and marvel at the portfolio of the artist that is Drew Struzan. Well, there you have it. Another amazing art book, The Art of Drew Struzan. Now, if you'd like to add this art book to your own personal library, I have an affiliate link to it in the description below. And if you choose to use my link to make your purchase, not only do you get this incredible art book, but you also, at no extra cost to you, help to support this channel, which allows me to continue making this type of content for you. So for that, I thank you. Also, be sure and let me know in the comment section below what your favorite art book is, because I am always looking to add to my own personal collection. Now, if you'd like to see more of my art book reviews, I have a link to my art book review playlist at the end of this video. And if by chance this is your first time here, my channel is all about helping people turn their part-time hobbies into full-time incomes. So if you have a hobby that you want to monetize, then be sure and check out my playlist on how to monetize your hobby. You can find a link to it right here. Until next time, take care.